he's like the rock star of sustainability. And then I remember he talking a very different thing about this business case for sustainability that really talked to my heart, not just to my mind. That was a feeling, wow, here I come home.
Hello everyone, welcome to the series Sustainability and Being. Today we are going to talk about something very important, something that we hear all the time. What's the business case for sustainability? So I ask you, Anna, how are you today?
Hi, Chris. Hi, everybody that is watching us. Yeah, I'm very happy to be again in this new episode. And yeah, this is a very, very interesting one. Yeah, I have heard this a lot in my sustainability career since the beginning. Since the beginning. Yeah, what's the business case for sustainability? Let's calculate it.
Yeah, it's profitable. How much can I profit from it?
Yeah.
How long will I get the money back?
Yes. These are very, very constant questions. And I remember working as an engineer, since working as an engineer in the beginning, with the concepts in the beginning of eco-efficiency, that company in that time were using. Still some companies use this concept to reduce water, reduce energy, or reduce any other thinking in the company to see how much the company can profit from it. It's fine to reduce it. It's fine to reduce the consumption of natural resources. It's good also. But the question about the profit, let's go deeper on it, yeah? And this, I heard a lot. I have heard a lot about this when I was working in organizations. And then a lot of organizations asking me to calculate it. And in the beginning, in that time, I used it to do some calculations for it, but really felt in something strange, something it was not quite well, but I couldn't understand very well. This is what I had learned in that time. And then I was doing it. And then when I moved to Holland, to Netherlands, in the beginning, a more traditional university, I saw several researchers calculating it also, how sustainability can be profitable, and doing meta-analysis, combining studies, different studies from different organizations, from different countries, to see if sustainability could be profitable or not. And sometimes the results were, sustainability is profitable. And sometimes the results were, no, sustainability is not profitable. And this was going on and on and on and on. And this was the paradigm that I was. And that most people still are, but some are changing the paradigm. But in that very same traditional university, I remember the visit of an important scholar that I talked sometimes about because he's one of my main references and inspiration, Edward Freeman. And I remember his first visit to that university. Everybody was excited because in science, he's like the rock star of sustainability. He is the guy. Here comes the guy. Even in that very traditional university, he was the rock star, and he still is the rock star. And then I remember he talking a very different thing about this business case for sustainability that really talked to my heart, not just to my mind. That was a feeling, wow, here I come home. This was my feeling, and not just my feeling, for a lot of other researchers, even for some of the researchers that were calculating it. Because what he tells, and that I really, really believe also, it also speaks to me, that when we are in a paradigm of sustainability as profitable, it's the old paradigm as the purpose of organizations is just to generate profits. But the paradigm is changed. It's deeply changed. Because now we understand the purpose of organization is much more than to have profits. And he tells in an interesting way, that we as human beings, we need red blood cells to survive. In the same way, the organizations, they need profits to survive. But our purpose as human beings is not to produce red blood cells. In the same way, the purpose of organizations are not to produce profits. It's much more. Imagine our life as human beings just producing red blood cells. It's crazy. It's not unbelievable. It's not crazy. But why is not crazy to think that the purpose of organizations is just to produce profits? It's much more bigger than it. Organizations, they have a space in society. Then it's how the organizations can create value for society as a whole, not just for shareholders, but using the terms of Freeman for all stakeholders. And I remember he telling it, yeah, and it's very vivid for me, seeing him in his black clothes with that big white beard, a little bit like Santa Claus. I was very shocked and also so inspired and so happy to see someone telling things that would make sense to me, would speak to my heart, not just to my mind. And it's unbelievable, because this paradigm is really changing worldwide. We are really going deeper in the purpose of organizations, and science is really, really going deeper on it also, and it is so beautiful to see. Yeah.
Awesome. But Anna, I agree, it's very beautiful. But how can we have profit with sustainability?
Very good question. Very good. I understand that this is still a question there.
Yeah, because let me just complement the purpose of an organization. Okay, maybe not the purpose, but they have to have profit, otherwise.
Yeah, I understand, because otherwise they would not survive. I understand, and this is very, very true. Organizations, they need profit to survive. It is, of course, very important, but it's not their purpose. Yeah, it's bigger. Let's think about an entrepreneur starting a new organization, for example. Why he or she is starting this new organization? Normally is because the person the entrepreneur see a problem in society to solve. And then he wants to solve this problem, or she wants to solve this problem. And then, because of this, the organization normally starts, I want to make as much profit as possible. May start, but through solving a problem of society. And then sometimes the organization become lost in the details of in the routines, in the processes, in the pressures from different stakeholders, and forget purpose in the daily work, in the daily things, and then be back to this old paradigm that is really, really from the past, that is changing, because we need to change as society, because in what's going on in the planet and all this, yeah. Then, as we saw also in the example about the red blood cells, the purpose of organizations, it's much more than just profits. It's really to create value for society, for all the stakeholders, including the planet. And then it's broadening the purpose of organization. And I understand that in some countries, for example, in North America, I think it's even in the law or in some agreements that the purpose of organization is to create value for the shareholders. But this purpose, it's really growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And a lot of organizations worldwide are changing it because, of course, maybe this purpose in the past, in the way that we understood organizations and society and the context that the planet were before, it was okay, this purpose in that time. But nowadays, with the knowledge that we have, with the awareness that we have, with the technology that we have, that understanding of organizations just to create profit, it's not enough anymore. And it's crazy because I still see, I saw last week, in fact, in my Instagram, they send some propaganda, some about MBA in some university here in Europe. I not tell the country because it's not nice, but I saw MBA here in Europe. How MBA in sustainability. Then I was interested. Oh, MBA in sustainability. Let's see what they teach about it. First thing, find the business case for sustainability. We will teach you about the business case for sustainability. Then I was, wow. Then there is still business schools very in the old paradigm. Run away from them. My advice. It's old stuff. It's really, really old stuff. Yeah, the world is changing very fast. And it's important for you to have more fresh things, more new ideas, to innovate in organization, to go with this change and to go first. Because if you go first, it's not going first because of your competitors. It's not about it. It's you go first to inspire other people. And of course, your organization earns also about being first, about innovating. You create a new market for yourself. And it's good for your organization also to innovate in new ways of thinking about organizations. If it makes sense to you. If it makes sense to you, there are a lot of things going on in business, in science, that you can be inspired and inspire other people in your sector, in your region. And it is so beautiful. It is very, very interesting. And it's more human. It's not so hard as just profit, all competition, all this. Is much more, harmonic. It's much more human also. It's making organizations fit for human beings. Again, let's make it again.
Let's make organizations great again.
Yeah. Fit for human beings. Yeah.
I love that. And it's more like when you are so worried about profit, you are in a fear-based environment, and it's stressful.
Yeah, it's very, very true, Chris. Very true. To be more not in fear-based. This is old stuff. This is old paradigms. Let's go to more deeper feelings, like love, like other more sharing, contributing, inspiring things like this, and more deep, that it's, yeah, in fact, most people want it. It's more that some inspiring others to have dare to do it, that you can inspire others around you, the people that are open to it. Because of course, it's not every bar that is open to it, to these new ways of thinking, to these new paradigms. But a lot of people are open, or are opening, and maybe you can help this person to open also.
And probably people who are watching us are among those that are really searching for something different and new.
Yes.
But why do you think so many people are stuck in the old school style of business?
Yeah. This was one of the questions of my PhD. Why these old paradigms they are still so strong? Yeah. And I found I studied the philosophical underpinnings of sustainability narratives, and I studied the narratives of the business as usual. That, for example, is the business case for sustainability is the business as usual. It's just having a new narrative, this sustainability narrative, and basing the new narrative in the old narrative of sustainability as profitable, as profits.
Yeah, they see it just like a new way to make more money.
Yes.
Try to fit that something that is round in a square.
Yeah, something like this. And then I was very intrigued about it, because working in organizations in Brazil, several organizations, when I was advisor in sustainability in Brazil, and talking to a lot of people there, I realized that was something strange about it. I could not explain rationally, but it was more a feeling that was something strange that would not match very well. And then I came to Netherlands to develop this research and to understand it deeper. And then I found deeper things that are behind this, that are, for example, anti-narratives. It's what's come before the narratives. Is our mental models and everything that is, because when we tell a narrative, it's based in some things that we have in our mind, individually and collectively. Not just me as individual, but also in my society, in my organization, in my country. What are the anti-narratives that are before what I tell, before my narrative? And I went deeper. What is before the anti-narrative? Then I found some fractal narratives in individuals, and going more deep in society, I found another more complicated fractal that I call social attractor narratives. It's crazy stuff. But it's more things that we believe it because of all the studies, of all the ways of understanding the world. About this struggle for survival, and this that was really the belief in the past that we had. And this is very deep in our beliefs as humans. And because of these old beliefs, we construct this new narrative of sustainability as the business case for sustainability. Mm-hmm. Because it's to having the maximum resources to survive, to sustain itself. And some things like this.
When you talk about survival, I am immediately reminded of Charles Darwin saying that the only strongest survive. Do you think that has something to do with these anti-narratives?
Yeah. It's really in the point, Chris, really in the point. Because Charles Darwin, in his book In the Origin of the Species, he wrote something that just the strongest would survive in the competition for the resources, things like this, yeah? And this becomes very deep imprinted in our subconscious mind. But Darwin also wrote another book that not a lot of people know. The book, The Descent of Man, where he tells about the importance of cooperation for survival of species, especially mammals like us. And this study is not very well known for most of people. Maybe because in that time, this paradigm, this belief, this strong belief of struggle for survival was so strong, so noisy in our mind, that this is what made sense in that time. And we forgot this old study, this other study of Darwin. But there is also a Nobel Prize, Elinor Ostrom, that is the first woman to have a Nobel Prize in economics. And she studied how different societies could cooperate and solve difficult problems together when they have open communication. And then she proved that it's very, very, very possible to solve very difficult problems when we cooperate with each other and talk and discuss openly with each other. And then these are changing the paradigms in science and also in practice, in society in general. But this is not it. If we go also from Adam Smith, for example, because some people tell, but Adam Smith, in The Wealth of Nations, he tells that really, really the self-interest is very important for wealth. But again, we are forgetting about other study of him. We are forgetting another book of him, The Theory of Moral Sentiments, where he talks about the importance of also cooperation and of being virtuous. And these studies are now being recovered in science and being putting together as an entire piece of the work of these scientists, of these thinkers, not just parts of those studies, but the entire studies. Because now we have a more complete understanding what those thinkers wanted to say. Not just partial understanding, but more complete one. And this is going on in all different sectors of societies, of science and all. And then it's a very beautiful moment to be alive in this planet and to see this big, huge change in paradigm, in beliefs, and in all this. It's very, very, very nice. And we have lots and lots and lots of opportunities for business, for different ideas to develop, to solve different problems of society. It's so beautiful.
Yes, it is. But Anna, I was thinking in history, we had so many paradigms that have fallen, turned into dust. And from that, we learn a lot, right? When we saw changes in the past happening. And there's always those companies and those organizations and those thinkers that resist to the end. Can you give us examples of what happens when an organization, for example, resists too long in the old paradigm, not accepting the new ideas? What can happen?
Yeah. Not just organization, but even empires. We have in the history, in our human history, that sometimes we are so stuck in old paradigms that it's kind of even an entire empire solved for nothing. Yeah. And as an example, Nokia from Finland.
Yeah.
For example, of course, you know very well this example. You told me sometime before, and I just remember that, for example, Nokia, I know that's a painful example because it's recent and all this, but Nokia become in the old, it produced wonderful mobile phones. And in Brazil, it was one of the best. Everybody wanted Nokia phones. This was the best, the best, the best. And from suddenly, it was not there anymore, because it started, for example, Apple with these very intelligent phones and all this, and everybody then wanted the Apple, this beautiful, intelligent phone. And for a few years, the company just didn't exist anymore as it was before, because maybe it took so long to stay in the old paradigm. And also with, for example, if we think also about photography, that before it was really more in films in like this, and the companies really wanting to develop the best paper, the best this for the photo, the best camera to produce that kind of photos. And they come the digital photography and change the entire paradigm. And then all that companies that did that before, they didn't exist anymore, or if they exist, they are very, very small niche. And this is the kind of the size of the changes that we are going exactly now. And in the next 10 years, and it's very short time, very, very, very short time, in the next 10 years, there will be so much changes in the society, in the organizations, and everything, that I think that organizations that don't awake for this new reality will not be here anymore. Not just organizations, but university like this one, offering an MBA on business case for sustainability. For me, it's unbelievable. It's old stuff. Imagine training professionals, executives in the old stuff. It's because some university, they didn't awaken yet for this new reality. Of course, this new reality is coming faster and faster and faster and faster, but very old structures take more time to change, and sometimes big old structures take lots of time to change, but these are one that can solve very fast if they don't change. And but it's going on now, an old paradigm, an old belief going and being almost dead, and a new one coming. And it's this old, now we are in both now, with this old world, old ways of understanding it, and the new one coming, and the old one trying to keep here, but slowly growing, slowly going out. And this is what's happening exactly now. And it's crazy.
I was thinking, these ideas are so beautiful, and just hearing you talking about this is light. It's a light feeling. It's happy. It's positive, right? But in reality, things are heavy, and oh my God, really hard. It's different. It's like the reality is something else for many people, for many organizations. But for these people who are getting inspired by this information, how do they, it's not by confronting, like how do they implement change? I think the example of the Kodak or the film photography stuff is a very good thing to talk to as an argument. Look, people that resisted creating films lost space, they died. They have to open for the new. So, but what do you think? What is good arguments for these people who face a very different reality than what we are listening here?
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting that you tell different reality, because reality we construct individually and collectively, yeah. And then maybe in this organization that this person is working, there is this constructed reality, this intersubjectivity constructed, that we construct among people, among each other. This world, this reality that we construct, and how to inspire other peoples to see other possibilities of constructions, because in the end it's all constructions, it's all human constructions, it's just constructions. We did it, we can do completely different, but for it we have to believe that it's possible other things. Then I would suggest for this person to bring examples. For example, if she or he is going to talk with the CEO of the company, or director, or the owner of the company, give examples of other organizations already doing it. Give examples of other CEOs, of other directors in other organizations doing it. Because people in high levels, in hierarchical, because we still talk about hierarchy, it's still in our society, they are very alone, and they have a lot of pressure for results, for all this. And of course, they are also human beings. They are trying to do their best. And maybe they don't have another examples, another inspiration, because everybody around them is just about business, the business case for sustainability. The business case for sustainability is even a next step for some, because some are still denying sustainability. Then imagine that the business case is already the next step. Yeah, and then imagine that you are going to be beyond the business case for sustainability. Then it's maybe too far for this person. But give examples, try to send examples for this person of other important people, important for this person, not for you. Talking their language. Other inspire example, important people for this executive. Try to tell about other possibilities, to use some different tools. But of course, some of these executives, you hear you, and some not. Because some are very, very, very closed, as we talked in the last episode, about this openness to review beliefs and to revolve. Some people are open, and some are not open yet. This, and then be light with yourself also. Don't stress yourself with it, because we are here just to spread these seeds of hope. But the sprouting of these new ideas are not our responsibility. We just spread the seeds of hope, of new ideas, of new possibilities.
Yeah, because if you look at nature, all you can do is put the seeds and take care and give conditions for it to grow, but they grow by themselves. That's what you mean. Everyone have to get that desire to change by itself. It cannot be imposed.
Yeah, exactly, Chris, exactly. We cannot impose our ideas, our beliefs, to other people. It doesn't work at all. In fact, this is what we did most in humanity, try to impose our ideas, our beliefs, and then what we do? Wars.
Yeah.
And then this is not the way. This is the past stuff. This is not the way anymore. It's through love, it's through compassion. Try to understand the view with the eyes of this person. Imagine that everyone around this person, or most people that are important from this person, tell just about profit, profit, profit. Or in the best case, the business case for sustainability. And this is the best case.
Yeah.
And we are thinking here about beyond it. Maybe it's too much. for this person. Maybe this person needs more time, more examples, more inspiration, more openness.
And get it, this idea that you just spoke about, like this person is just ready for the business case for sustainability. That's where this person hypothetically is. Then maybe you could explore a bit the idea of how worth is an image, for example, of a company. Talk about that, Anna, please.
Yeah, it's very good example, Chris, very good. Because if you see that this owner of this company, the CEO, this executive are not still open for beyond the business case for sustainability, I would not go for the think about profit, because then you have to deconstruct it in the future and it's more complicated. Go, for example, in the case of the image of the company, or use the language of innovation. We can innovate, we can have more market share, maybe, because we innovate, our company can have more value in the market, have it do a breakthrough, some things like this. Then this may be this person is open for it.
It came to my mind a very impactful question for this kind of people. How much would you pay for the title of the most innovative company? Of money. If they want to hear money, put it at your service, right? They have to adapt. Unfortunately, we wish we could be talking about purpose and all of that, but in reality, as you so explained so well, in the results of reality that was created in the past, we are still in this scenario. You have to do what you can, peacefully and joyfully.
And with one step each time. And if also you feel that this company is not for you anymore, you can also leave the company, open a new organization in a ways that you believe, or work in another organization with people that are more open to it. This is how you have to feel what is your own way, because you can also stay there and help those people to see new possibilities, new ideas, or you can move and create your own company, or you can work in another company. Feel what is best for you. Feel your own path, your own way. This I think is the most important, to see where you can contribute more, where you can be more happy, and all this. I think this is very important, because work is not just about money. It's much more. We are in the organizations. We, of course, need to earn money to make a living, of course. But also the purpose of your own work is not just money. It's much more than it. It's how we contribute for something bigger than ourselves. And this is intrinsic in us as human beings. Everybody wants to contribute with something bigger. Sometimes it's the conception of something bigger as making a lot of money. But it's deeper than it. It's how to solve more problems, help more people, help the planet also to flourish. And there's a lot of possibilities. Don't be stuck in small possibilities. Think big in contributing in bigger ways.
Stop deciding things through fear.
It's very well, very, very, very good, Chris. Because fear, it is a difficult energy. It's a very difficult energy that creates stress, that creates burnouts, and a lot of difficult things. And then really going more through things that are fun, that make you passionate about. And of course you have difficulties, because difficulties help us to grow as human beings. Difficulties are there to help us to grow. But if you are working in something that you really believe, that it speaks to your heart, it's completely different. Even with the difficulties, we overcome the difficulties. and we live day by day in a nicer way, not just doing work instrumental, but really step by step enjoying that step, enjoying that moment, not just as instrument for something as profit, but enjoying this moment as a contribution, as something nice, something interesting, something fun. Yeah, this is what my invitation, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I know that some people say, yeah, very beautiful in the fairy tale world. But in reality, it's not possible. But what is reality? We talked this in one of the last episodes. Yeah, this constructed reality. Yeah? Because never forget that the reality we construct individually and collectively. And then I understand that sometimes it's very difficult to stay with some group of people that have very strong belief about a very fixed reality, human reality. But this human reality is very intersubjective and it's very constructed among us. Then just go for it and be happy, daily, and
Anna, and what about that idea of growth? That companies have to keep growing, that economy has to keep growing. Isn't this like a law in economy that you have to keep growing? Why economists are always talking about growth?
Yeah, Chris, is a very, very, very interesting question. And this I heard a lot in the past in some economists, but in the university that I finished my PhD, there is a group of economists reviewing it, not just in the university that I did, but in other organizations, because of course then they have contacts of these economists worldwide. And there is even an economist from the Chicago School, that is Deidre McCloskey, that tells that these theories about growth, about just shareholders' value, it was developed for some ideological economists putting their ideology, their old beliefs, their old narratives behind these kinds of concepts. And they are reviewing it. The scientists are reviewing it. The economists worldwide are reviewing it. And this is new, completely new from now, from last few years. Then even economists from Chicago School, that is the most traditional worldwide, are reviewing this concept. And then, of course, there are other economists that are still in the old paradigm, and there are other economists that are going further in it and rethinking what is economy, what is good for, how economy can serve people more than people serve economy, can serve the planet instead of the planet serve the economy, because economy is also constructed in the intersubjectivity of humans. Yeah? That kind of all this construction about growth and about all this is our constructions of our own constructions. And I understand that there are countries that there are still poverty, people with no resources to survive and all this. But there are being studied new ways that is being called sometimes as prosperity, about cooperation, about all different paradigms that are changing exactly now and changing very, 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 very fast. And then even this growth economy paradigm is changing exactly now.
Wow, Anna, so good to hear all that all these changes already happening. and we are contributing in this very humble way, but we are contributing to it through these videos and this series. And I think you should invite everybody who's watching to also spread the word.
Yeah, thank you very much to being here, to watching us. We are very happy to spread these new ways of thinking about business, about society, about individuals, about being here. This series, Sustainability and Being, is really, we are really doing with our heart, of course, also with our intellect, but also with our heart, trying to open it. Everything that we know to you, to help you to spread it also. If you know someone that would also have a benefit on watching these videos, please share to this person. And also, if you like these videos, give a like here, make a comment here. If you have any question, also make a comment. And we see you soon in the next episodes.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Kiss. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.